Hey, Facebook. I had something cross my mind and I felt like it was worth sharing. Talking about the lasting imprint that childhood traumas leave in our body. Like, I can feel, I've started to be able to identify, I should say, the feeling in my body that was the loss of my dad, was the separation, that the abrupt and, life-changing events where my primary caregiver, who was my dad and who was really tender and really emotionally mature and like a good parent. And I was used to having him with me and take care of me every day until I was somewhere around 2. And then my mom took me away from my dad and would put me with babysitters. And my mom was never tender with me. Like, I don't ever remember my mom brushing my hair gently, like kindly. When I was like 15, I remember my grandma putting her hand on my back gently. And that was like the first time I ever remembered somebody touching my back gently, like a mom or a dad or somebody being nice to me. I was like a teenager the first time I felt like that motherly love. And it wasn't from my mom, it was from my grandma. So if you can imagine how traumatic this was for me as a baby, to be raised by my dad, who was very tender and very silly and very kind and very loving, and then to be abruptly put with my mom, who didn't know how to be tender and still to this day does not know how to be tender. And the amount of fear and real true horror, actually, the word is horror, of being separated from your family. Like, the vision that's coming to me right now is like being a child, this short little child looking up, being stuck in the middle of a cornfield, and all you can see around you are these is corn, tall stalks of corn, much higher than you. The corn is almost twice as high as you, and the cornfield is just everywhere, acres and acres and acres around you. And it's almost like waking up in a horror movie. You're like, where is everybody? And I'm so confused, and I'm so alone, and I'm so scared. And because I'm so confused, I don't even know how to make this better. You feel so hopeless and so powerless and so absolutely destroyed by missing your family. Like a little kid lost, and scared. That was what happened to me. And I can feel it in my body right now as I talk about it. And what I've come to realize is that I've been having this feeling in my body my whole life about missing my dad, and about like this disconnect, this trauma of the separation that occurred. And it's like this perpetual, I don't want to say perpetual, because I'm not saying it's 24/7 relentless, like every second of every day. But it perpetually is there on a regular basis, like a daily basis, like this, like, it's like a, why am I doing this? It's like a light. I'm imagining like this warning light that new, like you're on a submarine and the red light is like flashing, and that's like how I can explain the feeling of missing my dad and being confused and being scared. It's like this ever-present uncomfortable warning. Like something's wrong, like there's an emergency, but you're confused and you don't know what's going on. And yes, things come up and you get distracted. Oh, you're eating lunch right now. Oh, you're tying your shoes right now. Oh, you're in class and you're taking a test right now. Oh, you're at a party. You're roller skating right now. Of course, you're going to do things and you're not going to be aware of this feeling. But when the distractions subside, and as a child, you're like, what is this? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't make me feel good. It makes me want to cry right now talking about it. And it's this discomfort and it's this unease. It's this unease that always is there. And that's abandonment wounds. That's how I describe my abandonment wounds. Meow, meow, meow. And it's like waves of pain emanating through my body. Not like the physical pain. I mean, it hurts physically. It's an energetic, emotional pain that is experienced physically. Like it's a discomfort inside of me. It's a sadness inside of me that you can't quite explain. And that is every day of my life. And I had to learn, that's why I had to learn the Mom's Love acronym. Because I was in such perpetual pain ever since I was 2 years old. And I had no comfort for this constant aching, agonizing pain and loneliness and depression that it broke me into not... How did it break me? It made me feel like I wasn't sure there was anything worth living for. Because it never got better. And because of those abandonment wounds, that would then result in much more pain from the treatment that I would then receive from other people, the vulnerable situations I would put myself in because I was trying to heal or fix that ever constant pain, the relationships, or experimenting with drugs or alcohol or self-harm, right? Like all the things you do to try to get the pain to go away. Hi, Jenny. I gotta get back to what I was talking about. So I was talking about my abandonment wounds when I was separated from my dad, my primary caregiver, the only one who ever gave me love. And I was talking about how seriously the pain was experienced by me for my entire life. And it made me feel like I didn't know that I had anything to live for. And my life felt empty after your whole life is changed. As a child and even not as a child, your whole life is defined by your family. Your whole life is defined by your relationships. Your whole life is defined by the people you love and the people that love you. And when you destroy that for a young child or anybody, but especially when you do that to a young child, It's very hard to describe the amount of emotional and psychological pain that you put those kids through. Because it doesn't end. It never goes away. And in trying to get the pain to go away, you end up getting hurt more. And that's the story of so many kids. Is they get hurt more because they're trying to get the pain to go away. Because of mother and father wounds. Because of abandonment wounds or other types of wounds related to their relationship with their parents. So what I've realized, what had to happen for me was that there was no other way for me to continue surviving but to find a way to alchemize this constant pain, to find a way to easily relieve myself of the emotional and psychological pain that I'm describing, like this warning thing, like that's the, like in a submarine, meow, 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 like you got to get it to go away. You can't just live like that all the time. You got to get it to go away, or you are going to do some drugs, or you are going to get drunk, or you are going to fucking jump off a bridge. If you can't get this agonizing pain that won't stop to go away, you're going to do something. And that also manifests a lot in codependent relationships. Right? If it's not the drugs or the self-harm or the drinking or the shopping, a lot of times it's the oxytocin that you get from unhealthy relationships, or not the oxytocin that you get from relationships and touch and sex and stuff like that. But unfortunately, when you have these abandonment wounds that are causing this intense pain, you're not able to get into a healthy relationship. It's just not possible. When you have these unhealed and unaddressed abandonment wounds that you are unaware of, you will absolutely guaranteed get into an unhealthy relationship that will end up hurting you one way or another. So what we're doing, and what I experienced, was this continual being set up for failure in a way. I'm not saying someone did it to me intentionally, but I'm saying I was really lacking a lot of things that I needed to be able to heal. I was setting myself up to be hurt again because I didn't have the skills, or nobody had taught me how to deal with this pain, how to deal with emotional and psychological pain. And so, I was forced to learn the Mom's Love acronym, forced to develop it, although I was inspired by God, but forced to have attention for this, forced to turn my attention towards it because I was suffering so bad I had no other choice. And I wanted to be the best I could for my kids. And I knew I had to heal. And so that was how the Mom's Love acronym was born. Through God's inspiration and my suffering. And so the Mom's Love acronym has become a real daily ritual for me. When I was struggling with a lot of depression regarding my dad being locked up in the nursing home or not being able to see Titan, I began using the acronym in a crisis state first in a crisis state, and then once I realized it worked in a crisis state so quickly, within 5 minutes, I would want to be please, I need to be institutionalized. I'm too sad to function. I'm too sad to get up and use the toilet. I'm too sad to move my arm. I'm too sad to get a glass of water. And I was I can't. This was back when I was in Oregon because of my dad, and because we didn't have water in the house because the guardian for my dad, these evil ass guardians who she wanted the money from my dad's estate, turned off the water, while even though I was told told the law that I was a squatter, even though I was on the utility bill and I had a bedroom in the house and like my belongings were in the house. So my kids and I were staying in this house where she had turned the water off and like trying to see my dad, having no help, no car. My mom was just ignoring us because she hates my dad. And so she blocked us and would not talk to us for months and probably almost a year when we were in Oregon and California, because she was so mad that I would do anything to help my dad. So I'm struggling to help, and I begged her to help me get my dad out of the nursing home. Begged her if she would offer to be my dad's guardian, because she was his ex-wife. And so then maybe she could help my dad not be in the nursing home so that he could spend time with his grandkids and me before he died. But that's not what. So my mom let him die in a place where he had bed sores and where he wanted to be with his grandson and other grandkids. And I did everything to get him out of there one time. And then the guardian flew across the country, sorry, tangent, and picked him up to put him back in the nursing home where he almost died. And he died very soon after. My dad could have lived a lot longer. My dad could be alive right now. But because of my mom and because of the guardian, and because of the Oregon state judge who completely ignored the law in so many ways. Like, no, same thing. Holy shit, same thing as my fucking kids. No notice. I was given no notice of the guardianship, and that you can't have a legal guardianship without giving notice to the family. But see, this sneaky lawyer, sorry, super tangent, this sneaky lawyer with Teresa Hadcock Alteris, redside666@gmail.com, that's the lawyer's email address, and he's like unlisted because he's like a satanic evil lawyer who only does guardianship cases where they steal old people and put them in nursing homes so they can sell their house and get all their stuff. That's who took my dad. I got on a tangent. Sorry. My mom's really fucking hurt me. So yeah, when that was all going on, I wanted to die. I didn't want to die. I couldn't function because I was in so much pain. And I realized over time, I was able to connect the dots. That this pain I felt missing my father in the present, the pain I felt missing my father when he was locked up in the nursing home and no one would help me, and he was being stolen from me and my family for money. I realized that that's the feeling that's been bothering me the whole time, my whole life. That feeling like my dad got stolen from me. And I'm all alone and I'm scared and I'm not with anybody nice anymore. I can't imagine what those poor kids that ICE has taken feel like. I can't imagine what those poor kids in foster care homes feel like. I can't imagine what those poor kids in orphanages feel like. I can't imagine what those poor kids in these war-torn countries feel like. I can, just a little bit, because I'm sure their circumstances are in many ways worse than mine were. But if mine was this bad, what's going to happen to those kids that you guys destroyed? DHS? You guys have no idea the psychological and emotional pain that you are causing these kids. They will be scarred for the rest of their lives if they don't get help. And even if they get help, they're still going to be scarred for the rest of their lives. The things that you have done are unreversible in many ways. And that's sadly the truth. I'd like to be more optimistic. But what I can say is that you can learn how to cope with them. There's no ever getting rid of the damage that is done. There is only growing over it. Do you see what I'm saying? You can minimize and perhaps even erase all the negative consequences with time, but that pain is still inside. You see what I'm saying? You may learn how to stop behaving or coping in ways that continue to hurt you, but the pain is still always there because it was given to you, and there's no way to take it back. So I developed this technique out of necessity, and it's a powerful alchemizing tool. My pain is not gone. The Mom's Love technique does not take away your pain. The Mom's Love technique allows you to release the pain and not let it linger in your body. And the way to do that is to alchemize the energy of the pain and turn it into something different. And thereby, the pain actually becomes this never-ending source of fuel that must be alchemized into something good. For if you are not able to continue alchemizing the enormous pain that you experience on a daily basis, you will drown and die. So the energy I put forth every day is not out of desire, although there is some. It's out of necessity. I'm being force-fed pain on a daily basis because of the abusive actions and decisions of our government, ever starting back when I was 2 and younger. Because of the abusive actions of my mom, Sean, others, Skylar, doesn't really matter, right? There's a lot of sources of pain, but I'm going to say the government's the biggest one. What they do in family court, that's absolutely the most painful thing and the most destructive thing that's ever happened to me emotionally and psychologically. And it's a lifelong sentence. But glass half full, I have a lot of energy that other people don't have. And yes, it's out of necessity. But I have a lot of energy that other people don't have. So that's the benefit. 6% battery. Don't let me go too long. Okay. If you have pain in your life and you can learn how to alchemize it and you can learn how to quickly transmute it into something else that's positive, you can do a lot of things. So, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. It makes sense to me. Oh my gosh, people are talking to me. Jenny. Sorry, Jenny. I was like not reading. Lindsay. Oh my gosh, Jenny and Lindsay. Hi, guys. And Stephanie. What? Yeah, struggling about not having our kids. Yeah, life is shattered without them. Yeah, so Jenny, here's the thing. Like, I've already gone through this once. And it happened 10 years ago, and it was actually really traumatic. The kids were taken for domestic violence by CPS, even though I wasn't letting Sean live with me anymore and all this stuff. snatched Pandora from behind me when I was locking my door. Like, I put her she was in her car seat, and I walked out the front door, and I set her down on the stoop, and I turned around, and I took the keys, and I locked the door, and I turned around to pick up my baby so we could go. And she was with the police. They just come up and took her behind me. And then I went through all the services they wanted me to. I went to therapy to deal with domestic violence, and I went to confidential housing so Sean couldn't find me. And I jumped through absolutely every hoop as fast as I possibly can. And honestly, that case got closed in 3 months, which is very unusual. And you know why that is? That's because I worked my ass off to show them that I really meant what I said. And I did the classes, and I was fiercely devoted to getting my kids back. I mean, it was 4 months. It should have been 3 months, but they extended it a month. At the hearing that they were all, the lawyers and CPS and everyone was recommending that the kids come home to me. And the judge decided to take 5-day-old Apollo for 1 month, right there in court. Just to make sure I hadn't ever done, I was just a victim of domestic violence. I was a victim of domestic violence. And they already had taken my 9-month-old baby away from me. And I did everything they asked for 3 months. And I was doing perfect, and everyone said my kids could come home. And as a victim, they decided to take my 5-day-old baby for a month. Just to show how powerful they were. To punish me for being a victim. So sorry, tangent. My point, Jenny, that I've already fucking been destroyed once. And it built strength. I already been fucking destroyed once, and I swore to God, I swore that if my kids ever got taken again, the pain would be so great that I would commit suicide. I swore that there was no way I could ever handle having my kids taken again, because the first time it happened, it killed me, especially with a newborn baby. There's so many reasons why it was especially painful, but it was. And I learned how evil CPS was then. And that's why I did everything to protect my kids, to make sure that I did not need any government intervention, because I was proactive in protecting my children and getting them away from abusers. So my point, Jenny, is that this has shattered me once. And I am living through something that I thought would kill me. And there's a strength in that. 4%. Okay, let me see what anybody else has said so that I don't ignore you guys. Oh, and thank you for saying that about working together. Yeah, we totally are. You know, we need to get, I'm going to be having these ambassadors for the Mom's Love program in terms of emotional and psychological healing, like skill sets, so they can like go out into the world and help other people and like rep this like modality, rep this like philosophy so that we can help other people. But I need ambassadors for the CPS program. It's not going to be an ambassador. I'm going to have to come up with different names, I guess. But we need to have representatives for Mom's Love in every state. And those representatives, I think every representative, we're probably going to have to divide ourselves into districts, like maybe the legal districts, because that would make sense if we're doing legal activism. And like the districts probably need to like have a weekly meeting where all the reps from each district have a call once a week where they all talk for like half an hour or an hour or whatever it is. And then maybe once a month we have a big Zoom call where we have a representative from each state. So we like all on a Zoom call and we check in about what we've been doing. because here's what we can do. Which one is it? Amendment. There's an amendment of the Constitution. Article 5. No, I have no idea what the fuck it is. I can't remember what number it is. There's an article of the Constitution where we can amend the Constitution. We can add articles to the Constitution. If 34 states or something like that all put forward the same legislation, then X amount of the states all also vote on it or something, okay? It's possible. It's like basically 34 states. If 34 states all put forward the same state thing, then they can put up for a vote, adding this amendment to the United States Constitution that then would be applicable around the country. 3%. Shit. So this is all we really need to do. And I've already figured this out as well. We just need to get organized enough to figure out what we're going to propose. We're going to get organized enough to get the legal help, like actually file this shit in at least 34 different states, get it to pass in 34 states, come up with things that make sense that we can all agree on, like shutting down ICE. We could all propose something like that, or propose something about chemtrails, which I'm sorry, that doesn't have anything to do with CPS, but it's honestly a real pet peeve of mine. Propose something about shutting down CPS. I don't have all the details figured out, but the point being is that we can change our Constitution and we can add protections to our Constitution, 2%. Shit, I'm about to go. That can protect us like now, well, not this instant, but we can basically create change now. We don't have to ask for Congress to do this for us. We, the people, can change our own flipping Constitution if we can just get on the same page. Okay, so, moving on. Stephanie, I was trying to read about your dad. When my dad, because I was that living heir, legally everything went to me with my grandparents, or the last living heir. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, Stephanie, I don't understand. But probably, that was probably in regards to my dad. Yeah. So, anywho, Dodo Bird! Hi, Dodo Bird. I love your name, Dodo Bird. Oh my gosh, Jenny, I can't believe that. I'm reading your thing about your landlord. He broke into your home and sexually assaulted you guys? Oh my gosh, when was this? Oh, and you were punished? Oh my gosh. This is fucking crazy, you guys. Look, I've been saying this all day. Our governments are fake, our churches are fake, but mom's love is real. Can I say it again? Our churches are fucking fake, our government's fucking fake, and a fucking criminal organization. Mom's love, though, is real, and you can count on it. I love you guys. I can't read all the comments now. I'm going to go. I'm on 1%, but I love you. And I'm going to do more lives now. I got to do more lives. I can't stop doing lives. I got to get back into it. So, I'll see you later.